The unexpected interview. Harrison Blake stared at the job listing floating on his holodisplay, coffee cup frozen halfway to his lips. After 15 years in Earth's Interstellar Defense Force, he'd seen his share of unusual postings, but this one took the cake. Seeking, security professional for highly specialized distribution network. Must have experience with multi-species operations, advanced threat assessment, and unconventional problem solving. Note, Class 12 Deathworlder preferred. The salary made his eyes water. Either this was the most elaborate scam he'd ever seen, or someone out there was desperate enough to specifically request a human from Earth, a planet so dangerous it made most aliens break out in nervous tremors just thinking about it. Harrison ran a hand through his graying hair and clicked accept before he could talk himself out of it. The coordinates for the interview appeared immediately: deep space, somewhere beyond Pluto's orbit. Perfect. Because why wouldn't a legitimate job interview take place in the middle of nowhere? He prepped his personal shuttle, the Lucky Break, for departure. The small vessel had seen him through countless sticky situations, and its worn pilot's seat felt more like home than his apartment ever did. As he guided the ship toward the coordinates, Harrison reflected on what had brought him to this point. The war against the Nexus pirates had ended 2 years ago, leaving him with an impressive resume, a collection of interesting scars, and a burning desire to find purpose in a galaxy that seemed increasingly peaceful. Too peaceful, some might say, for someone with his particular skill set. The navigation system chimed, indicating he'd reached the designated coordinates. Harrison checked his instruments twice, but they all showed the same thing: empty space. He was about to chalk this up as a waste of time when reality shifted. One moment he was staring at stars, the next his sensors were screaming about a massive structure that had simply appeared in front of him. The station was enormous, easily rivaling Earth's largest orbital habitats, but its appearance made Harrison blink several times to make sure he wasn't hallucinating. The entire structure sparkled with lights and patterns that reminded him of old Christmas decorations, and what appeared to be actual tinsel glittered in the starlight. Before he could process this, his comm system activated with a cheerful chirp. "Welcome to the Interstellar Gift Distribution Service. Please proceed to Docking Bay Joy 7 for your interview. And don't worry about the weapons, we know Earth natives feel naked without them." The voice was warm and genuinely friendly, which immediately set Harrison's teeth on edge. In his experience, genuinely friendly voices in space usually preceded something trying to kill you. The docking procedure was surprisingly smooth, though the complete lack of security scans made his professional sensibilities scream in protest. As the airlock cycled, Harrison straightened his formal jacket, worn over his lightweight tactical armor, because old habits die hard, and stepped into what appeared to be a Christmas wonderland. The receiving area looked like someone had taken every holiday special he'd watched as a child and turned it into reality, complete with floating ornaments and what appeared to be actual snow gently falling from somewhere in the ceiling. A small figure waited for him, barely reaching his waist, with skin that shimmered like starlight and delicate crystalline wings. "Greetings, Harrison Blake. I'm Luminara, Chief of Personnel Relations. We're so delighted you've come to interview for our security position. Though I must say, you're much less intimidating than I expected for a Deathworlder." Harrison had been called many things in his life, but less intimidating than expected was a new one. "I find it helps to save the intimidation for when it's actually needed," he replied diplomatically. Luminara's laugh sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Oh, how wonderfully practical. Come along then, the big star is very eager to meet you." As they walked through corridors that seemed to blend advanced technology with holiday cheer, Harrison's tactical mind couldn't help but note the absolute lack of security measures. No surveillance systems, no defensive checkpoints, not even basic access control. Either this organization had some form of security so advanced he couldn't detect it, or they were operating with the galaxy's most valuable sitting duck. The interview chamber turned out to be a cozy room with what appeared to be actual floating clouds serving as chairs. And there, behind a desk made of what looked like crystallized starlight, sat a being that made Harrison's jaw drop for the first time in years. Ho ho ho. Welcome, Harrison Blake of Earth. I believe we have quite a bit to discuss about the future of Christmas security. Training the Starlight Squad. Harrison stood before his newly assembled security team, trying very hard not to pinch the bridge of his nose in frustration. The group before him consisted of 12 stellar beings, their bodies literally made of condensed starlight, and 3 quantum sprites who existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Currently, they were all attempting to perform a basic breach and clear maneuver, but their idea of breach and clear involved spreading sparkles and singing harmoniously. Stardust, he addressed the team leader, a stellar being who seemed to take everything literally. When I say, neutralize the threat, I don't mean try to befriend it. Stardust's light dimmed slightly in confusion. But Harrison, every being has the potential for friendship within them. Our handbook clearly states. Your handbook, Harrison interrupted, didn't account for the Void Syndicate stealing children's wishes. Sometimes, friendship isn't an option. The mention of the Void Syndicate, the notorious organization that had been targeting joy and wonder across the galaxy, sobered the group. Even the quantum sprites stopped their dimensional shifting long enough to pay attention. Let's try something different, Harrison suggested, setting up a new training scenario. Imagine the intruder is trying to corrupt the gift-wrapping AI. What's your response? Echo, one of the quantum sprites, raised a hand that existed in 3 different dimensions at once. We could sing the song of universal harmony. Harrison took a deep breath. Echo, while I appreciate the sentiment, sound waves, even multidimensional ones, won't stop a quantum virus. Let's work with your natural abilities instead. You exist in multiple dimensions, right? That means you can detect and intercept threats before they fully materialize in our dimension. Echo's eyes widened across all dimensions. You mean, use our existence-spanning nature for security? Exactly. And Stardust, your people can manipulate light and energy. Instead of just creating pretty patterns, you could generate containment fields or temporary blindness. For the first time, Harrison saw understanding dawn in their literally glowing faces. Over the next few hours, he worked with each team member, helping them adapt their natural abilities into practical security measures. The stellar beings learned to create light-based barriers that could stop intruders while looking like festive decorations, while the quantum sprites developed a surveillance system that could monitor multiple dimensions simultaneously. The breakthrough came during an afternoon training session when Stardust successfully contained a simulated threat using a combination of light manipulation and holiday cheer. The containment field looked like a beautiful Christmas ornament but was as solid as reinforced steel. You see, Harrison praised, we don't have to abandon who you are to be effective. We're just adding new skills to your existing ones. Luminara, who had been observing the training sessions, floated over to him during a break. You're doing remarkably well with them, Harrison. Most Deathworlders would have tried to completely militarize our operation. Harrison watched as his team practiced their new techniques, their natural joy and wonder now enhanced rather than replaced by their security training. That would be missing the point, wouldn't it? The whole purpose of this operation is spreading joy. We just need to make sure nothing interferes with that mission. As if to emphasize his point, the quantum sprites demonstrated their new interdimensional alert system, which manifested as twinkling lights that could actually detect temporal anomalies. The stellar beings had created a network of light-based sensors that looked like holiday decorations but could track any unauthorized movement through the facility. The facility's gift processing center became their primary training ground, where Harrison taught them to integrate security measures into their daily operations. Gift wrapping stations now included subtle scanners, and the cheerful holiday music contained encoded security frequencies that could alert the entire team to potential threats. However, not everything went smoothly. During one particularly challenging session, attempting to teach the team about cybersecurity, Harrison found himself explaining why they couldn't just hug the malware away. But negative energy responds to positive energy. Shimmer, another stellar being, insisted. Yes, Harrison agreed patiently, but computer viruses aren't actually negative energy. They're malicious code that, he stopped, an idea forming. Wait. You can manipulate energy patterns, right? What if we created a security system that converts your positive energy into a quantum firewall? The concept revolutionized their approach to digital security. By the end of the week, the facility's networks were protected by what Harrison called the Joy Protocol, a security system that used the natural energy of his team to create an impenetrable defense that actually made authorized users happier while blocking unauthorized access. As Harrison watched his team grow and adapt, he realized they were creating something entirely new, a security force that could protect while preserving the very spirit they were defending. The Starlight Squad, as they began calling themselves, combined the best of both worlds, the efficiency and effectiveness of military precision with the warmth and wonder of holiday magic. But their first real test was coming sooner than anyone expected. As Harrison reviewed the day's training logs in his office, Luminara burst in, her crystalline wings vibrating with anxiety. Harrison, our long-range sensors just picked up something. The Void Syndicate, they're mobilizing. And they're heading straight for us. The Shadow Protocol. Harrison's office had become a command center, holographic displays showing sensor readings and security protocols floating in the air like ornate snowflakes. Stardust and Echo stood at attention while Luminara paced nervously, her crystalline wings catching the light. Show me the sensor data, Harrison commanded, his military training kicking in. The holographic display expanded, revealing a fleet of ships moving through the darkness of space. Their design was unmistakable, Void Syndicate vessels, their hulls seeming to absorb both light and joy from the surrounding space. 12 ships, Stardust reported, their luminous form dimming slightly with concern. All showing the same energy signature we detected during the Jovian Joy theft last month. Harrison nodded grimly. The Jovian incident had been a wake-up call, an entire moon's worth of children's joy stolen in one night. Now the Syndicate had set their sights on something even bigger. Time to implement the Shadow Protocol, Harrison announced. His team straightened, ready for action. They'd been practicing this, but now it was real. Echo, begin quantum surveillance. I want to know if they so much as think about using their dimensional drives. The quantum sprites split into multiple versions of themselves across dimensions, each monitoring a different aspect of spacetime. Already detecting temporal disturbances, Echo reported, their voice echoing across realities. They're testing for weaknesses in the spacetime fabric around the facility. Stardust, initiate the light veil. Harrison turned to the stellar being. Remember what we practiced, make it look like normal holiday decorations. Stardust nodded, their form brightening as they reached out with their powers. Across the facility, strings of what appeared to be simple holiday lights began to glow. But these weren't ordinary decorations, each light was part of an interconnected defense grid capable of detecting and deflecting both physical and energy-based attacks. Luminara watched in amazement as the security measures they'd spent weeks preparing came to life. It's beautiful, she whispered. I never thought security could be so festive. Harrison allowed himself a small smile. That's the point. The best security measures are the ones nobody recognizes as security. He turned to his tactical display, where red dots representing the Void Syndicate fleet were drawing closer. Time to wake up the gift guards. Throughout the facility, seemingly innocent presents and decorations transformed. Ornaments revealed sophisticated scanning equipment, tinsel became motion sensors, and what appeared to be toy soldiers stationed around the facility stood at attention, their forms composed of hardened starlight and quantum-locked matter. Sir, Echo called out, their multiple forms flickering with urgency, they're preparing for their first probe. Temporal signature suggests automated drones. Perfect time to test our new defense system, Harrison replied. Stardust, ready the Joy Net. Echo, prepare for interdimensional intercept. Let's show them why you don't mess with Christmas. The first wave of Void Syndicate drones appeared in bursts of dark energy, their forms like shadows given substance. They moved with mechanical precision, seeking weaknesses in the facility's defenses. Instead, they found themselves caught in a web of light and quantum energy that looked like sparkling holiday decorations. Drones contained, Stardust reported proudly. The Joy Net is working exactly as designed. Their negative energy signature is being converted into, well, you might want to see this yourself. Harrison watched as the captured drones, designed to spread darkness and despair, were transformed by the defensive grid. Their shadowy forms began to sparkle with holiday lights, their programming overwhelmed by the pure positive energy of the security system. They're not just contained, Echo observed from multiple dimensions simultaneously, they're being reprogrammed by the ambient joy energy. The Void Syndicate won't be able to use them again. But Harrison knew this was just the beginning. They're testing our defenses, learning our capabilities. The real attack is still coming. He turned to his team. Time to activate the final phase of the Shadow Protocol. Echo, initiate the Quantum Carol. The Quantum Sprite's eyes widened across all dimensions. Are you sure? We've never tested it at full power. We don't have a choice. The Void Syndicate is about to learn that spreading darkness isn't as easy as they thought. Harrison checked his tactical display one last time. Stardust, sync your light matrix with Echo's quantum field. Luminara, we'll need your crystalline resonance to amplify the effect. As his team moved into position, Harrison reflected on how far they'd come. What had started as an impossible task, teaching beings of pure light and quantum energy to think like security professionals, had evolved into something entirely new. They weren't just defending Christmas, they were redefining what security could be. The facility hummed with power as the Quantum Carol initialized, a harmonious blend of light, sound, and multidimensional energy that would protect not just the physical structure, but the very concept of joy itself. As the first real waves of the Void Syndicate's attack approached, Harrison knew they were as ready as they could be. Remember, he addressed his team, we're not just protecting presents and decorations. We're defending hope, wonder, and joy itself. And that makes us the most important security force in the galaxy. The tactical display lit up with new warnings as the Void Syndicate fleet moved into attack position. Harrison squared his shoulders, a familiar calm settling over him. The real battle was about to begin, and he had faith in his unusual but extraordinary team. Let's show these joy stealers what happens when you try to steal Christmas from a facility guarded by a Deathworlder and powered by holiday spirit. Operation Starfall. The first direct attack from the Void Syndicate came like a wave of darkness across the stars. Their ships, sleek vessels that seemed to absorb both light and hope, moved in perfect formation toward the facility. Harrison watched from the command center as his preparations were put to the ultimate test. Void-class cruisers deploying boarding pods, Echo reported, their multiple-dimensional forms flickering with activity. They're using phase-shift technology to bypass standard defenses. Harrison allowed himself a small smile. Good thing we don't use standard defenses. Stardust, activate the tinsel trap. What appeared to be decorative strands of tinsel throughout the facility's outer hull suddenly came alive with energy. As the phase-shifted boarding pods tried to materialize inside the facility, they found themselves caught in a web of quantum-entangled light that looked like nothing more than festive decorations. First wave contained, Stardust reported proudly. The tinsel trap is converting their phase-shift energy into jingle bells. Indeed, each trapped boarding pod was now cheerfully ringing with holiday music, their sophisticated phase-shift drives transformed into literal bells. But Harrison knew this was just the beginning. They're preparing their main weapon. Luminara called out, her crystalline wings vibrating with alarm. The Joy Drain, it's bigger than anything we've seen before. The tactical display showed an ominous buildup of dark energy in the Void Syndicate's flagship. The Joy Drain was their ultimate weapon, capable of stealing happiness and wonder from entire star systems. If it hit the facility, it could destroy everything they protected. Echo, initiate the quantum carol. Full power. Harrison turned to his team. Everyone, battle stations. This is what we've trained for. Throughout the facility, Harrison's unique security measures sprang into action. The gift guards, constructs of hardened starlight and quantum-locked matter, moved into defensive positions. The light veil, looking like nothing more than holiday decorations, began to pulse with protective energy. The Void Syndicate's flagship fired its joy drain, a beam of pure darkness that seemed to devour the starlight itself. But as it approached the facility, something unexpected happened. The quantum carol, a harmony of light, sound, and multidimensional energy created by Echo and amplified by the entire security team, met the dark beam head-on. It's working! Stardust exclaimed, their form blazing with effort as they added their power to the defense. The carol is converting their negative energy. Harrison watched in amazement as the joy drain beam was transformed. Where it touched the quantum carol's field, darkness turned to light, despair to hope. The Void Syndicate's greatest weapon was being turned against them, converted into pure holiday spirit. But the enemy wasn't done yet. Taking advantage of the facility's focus on the joy drain, several smaller ships launched a coordinated strike at what they thought was a weak point in the defenses. Multiple breaches in sectors 7 through 9, Echo reported urgently. They're inside. Right where we want them, Harrison replied calmly. Activate Protocol Sugar Plum. Throughout the breached sectors, what appeared to be simple Christmas decorations suddenly revealed their true nature. Garlands became capture nets, ornaments released clouds of joy-inducing sparkles, and even the holiday music took on a subtle frequency that disrupted the Void Syndicate's neural networks. Boarding parties found themselves tangled in quantum-enhanced tinsel or surrounded by gift guards whose cheerful appearance belied their combat capabilities. Some intruders were caught in patches of what looked like fake snow but was actually a temporal stasis field, freezing them in moments of pure holiday joy. Sir! Luminera called out, they're attempting to hack our gift processing mainframe. Let them try, Harrison smiled. Echo, show them what happens when you try to hack pure joy. The Void Syndicate's best cyber warfare specialists had infiltrated the facility's systems, only to find themselves caught in what Harrison called the Firewall of Cheer, a security system that didn't just stop intrusions but converted malicious code into holiday greetings. In the command center, Harrison coordinated the defense with the precision of a military commander and the creativity of a holiday enthusiast. His team had transformed from a group of peace-loving beings into a highly effective security force that could protect and spread joy simultaneously. Enemy fleet is in disarray, Stardust reported. The converted joy drain energy is affecting their ships. I'm detecting carols singing from their engine cores. Harrison watched as the Void Syndicate fleet began to retreat, their ships trailing streams of multicolored light instead of their usual darkness. The flagship, hit hardest by the reversed joy drain, was now broadcasting jingle bells on all frequencies. Should we pursue? Echo asked, their multiple forms already preparing for interdimensional chase. No need, Harrison replied, studying the sensor readings. They've received their gift, a lesson in the true power of holiday spirit, backed by proper security protocols. As the enemy fleet disappeared into the darkness of space, now significantly more festive than when they arrived, Harrison turned to his team. Every member of the Starlight Squad stood proud, their natural joy and wonder now enhanced by the knowledge that they could defend it effectively. Well done, everyone, he said, allowing himself to relax slightly. We've just shown the galaxy why you don't mess with Christmas when it's guarded by holiday spirit and a Deathworlder who knows how to use it. A new tradition. 1 month after the Void Syndicate's failed attack, Harrison stood in the facility's main control room, watching his security team conduct their daily patrols. The changes were subtle but significant. Stellar beings who once only spread joy now maintained sophisticated defense grids while doing so, and quantum sprites monitored multiple dimensions while singing carols. Hard to believe this is the same team that tried to hug their way out of our first security drill, Luminara commented, floating beside him. Her crystalline wings now contained encrypted communication arrays, though they sparkled just as beautifully as before. They haven't lost who they are, Harrison replied, watching Stardust lead a group of new recruits through security protocols that looked more like holiday decorating than military training. They've just learned to protect what makes them special. The facility itself had evolved. Every festive decoration now served a dual purpose. The garlands contained motion sensors, the ornaments housed quantum scanning arrays, and even the holiday music carried encrypted security frequencies. But to visitors, it all just looked like Christmas cheer. Speaking of special, Echo materialized beside them, existing in 3 dimensions simultaneously. You might want to see this. They projected a holographic display showing various points across the galaxy. Remember those Void Syndicate ships we hit with the Quantum Carol? Harrison nodded, studying the display. The dots of light representing the converted ships were spreading across space, but instead of their former darkness, they were leaving trails of joy in their wake. They're delivering presents, Echo explained, their multiple forms barely containing their excitement. The converted joy drain didn't just affect their ships, it transformed their entire operation. They're using their stealth technology and phase-shifting abilities to deliver gifts to children in war zones and disaster areas. Harrison couldn't help but smile. From joy stealers to joy spreaders. That's a security outcome I never achieved in the military. The facility's gift processing center had been completely revamped under Harrison's guidance. The assembly lines now featured what he called tactical joy deployment, combining efficiency with security while maintaining the wonder of the gift-giving process. Gift-wrapping robots performed subtle security scans while tying perfect bows, and the quality control elves had learned to detect tampering while spreading holiday cheer. Harrison, Luminara called his attention to another monitor. The big star wants to see you. In the main office, surrounded by holographic displays showing gift delivery routes and security protocols, sat the being who had taken a chance on hiring a Deathworlder to protect Christmas. Their form, composed of condensed starlight and pure joy, somehow managed to convey both authority and warmth. Harrison Blake, the big star's voice filled the room with warmth. You've done more than just secure our facility. You've created something entirely new, a way to protect joy while spreading it. Thank you, sir, Harrison replied, standing at parade rest out of habit. Though I have to admit, when I first arrived, I thought this was either a joke or a trap. The big star's laughter sounded like distant sleigh bells. And now? Harrison thought about his team, about how they'd merged their natural abilities with security protocols to create something unique in the galaxy. Now I understand why you wanted a Deathworlder. We're used to finding ways to protect what matters while adapting to impossible situations. Though I never expected to be teaching combat maneuvers to beings made of starlight. Which is exactly why you were perfect for the job, the big star nodded. Speaking of which, I have a proposal for you. We're expanding our security operations. There are other facilities, other joy-spreading operations that need protection. We'd like you to develop a training program, teach others what you've created here. Harrison looked out the window at the vast expanse of space, thinking about all the joy and wonder out there that needed protecting. You want me to train more Joy Guardians? Indeed. After all, what better way to protect the spirit of giving than to share what you've learned? As Harrison left the office later, he passed through the main concourse where Stardust was leading a training session. The stellar being had created a display of light that served as both a beautiful aurora and a sophisticated detection grid. Nearby, Echo was teaching new quantum sprites how to monitor multiple dimensions while maintaining the facility's festive atmosphere. Looking good, Stardust, Harrison called out. Just remember. Joy can be a shield as well as a gift, Stardust finished, their form brightening with pride. You've taught us well, Chief. Harrison Blake, former Earth Special Forces operator turned protector of galactic joy, watched his team at work. They had created something unique, a security force that could defend happiness itself without losing the very wonder they sought to protect. You know, Luminara said, landing beside him, when we first posted that job listing for a Deathworlder security expert, some thought we were crazy. Who puts a warrior in charge of protecting joy? Harrison watched as a group of gift-wrapping robots, now equipped with state-of-the-art security scanners, decorated a present while singing carols. In the background, the converted Void Syndicate ship signals showed them delivering more gifts to forgotten corners of the galaxy. Sometimes, he replied, the best way to protect something precious is to understand both how to defend it and why it needs defending. After all, what's the point of spreading joy if you can't keep it safe? Above them, the facility's defense grid twinkled like holiday lights, protecting the spirit of giving in ways that looked like pure magic but worked like pure science. It was, Harrison reflected, exactly what happened when you combine the tactical thinking of a Deathworlder with the wonder of Christmas, something new, something stronger, and something that would keep the joy of giving safe for generations to come.